What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Noah Gray here, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Josh's channel and check out showmefootball.com for more.
What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com. And I wanted to talk about the possibility of the Kansas City Chiefs potentially trading up in the first round to draft a wide receiver. So this stems from a report earlier today from Adam Schefter saying Boston College wide receiver Zay Flowers, Mel Kiper's number 10 overall prospect, is in Texas today to work out with Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes at the request of the team. Per source, Flowers believed his pre-draft process was over after visiting the Titans on Tuesday until the Chiefs called. And the day before that, photos were released on social media of Patrick Mahomes working out with TCU wide receiver prospect Quentin Johnston, who is also believed to be a name that is going to go in the first round among wide receivers in the 2023 NFL Draft. So with so much smoke and so much activity surrounding some of the top wide receiver prospects in this draft, that begs the question, is this all a smokescreen, or are the Kansas City Chiefs planning to go big at wide receiver in the first round of the NFL Draft? Could they potentially trade up for a wide receiver? Because in all reality, the Kansas City Chiefs would have to trade up to acquire a player like Zay Flowers or Quentin Johnston, two players that they've now been connected to and we've seen Patrick Mahomes working out with. It hasn't been for no reason. Now, that's not to say that it means the Chiefs are drafting them. It could very well be a smokescreen, a misdirection, the Chiefs putting out there that they really like a certain player and then they go another direction and it throws some teams off in the draft and their draft strategy. There's no doubt that both Quentin Johnston and Zay Flowers are electric prospects in this draft. I actually made a video about wide receiver prospects that I could see the Chiefs drafting, and I mentioned both Quentin Johnston and Zay Flowers, but I didn't put either of them on the top 4 list in the video. But they're two names that I could absolutely see Kansas City drafting. Quentin Johnston had a top 30 visit with the Chiefs earlier this offseason before being seen working out with Patrick Mahomes. He's a big play kind of guy. He's going to take some time to come along the NFL, and he needs some polishing to his game, but he was electric at TCU. And then there's Zay Flowers, who has maybe the best change of direction of any wide receiver in this draft. He's an athletic freak. He's good when it comes to yards after the catch, despite being a smaller guy. That will mainly play out of the slot in the NFL. But again, them simply working out and meeting with the Chiefs doesn't mean that the Chiefs will draft him. It could be some misdirection. It could just be the Chiefs asking Patrick Mahomes, hey, go throw to this wide receiver. Tell us how you feel about him. And then maybe they'll consider going up and getting him. And that is an aspect you have to consider, is that Patrick Mahomes does have some say in what the Chiefs are trying to do, or he will, talk with the front office. He's talked about this offseason, how the front office has been transparent with him, and he's been transparent with the front office about what he wants. And he could very well be saying, hey, I really want a receiver. And the Chiefs are saying, okay, let's have you work out with some of these guys and tell us what you think. Maybe we could go and get one of them for you. Or again, they could be putting out some misdirection saying they really like Zay Flowers or they really like Quentin Johnston. And other teams are going, well, the Chiefs have been a really good drafting team and they like these guys. Maybe we should be paying more attention. And then somebody like Jackson Smith-Njigba falls or Jordan Addison falls into their lap and the Chiefs go ahead and get them when that's who they wanted all along. There's a ton of different angles you could approach this from, why the Chiefs are doing this, why they're having these last-minute visits with some of the elite wide receiver prospects in this draft. But we'll have to see what this means. I mean, this is getting exciting. We're getting really close to the draft, and the Chiefs are putting a lot of smoke out there. But let's just say they are heavily interested in Zay Flowers or Quentin Johnston. They're going to have to trade up in the first round, and I established that already, but I don't think Chiefs fans realize, just how far that the Chiefs might have to trade up to get some of these guys, because Zay Flowers, Quentin Johnston, those are two players that could easily go in the top 20 of this year's draft. They're guys that might not be available at the end of the first round, and I think the Chiefs would consider trading up if they are this serious about wide receiver, or as serious about wide receiver as they're indicating right now. We know the Chiefs aren't afraid to trade up. They did it last year to go get their guy, Trent McDuffie, in the first round. But that situation was a little bit different because the Chiefs had a lot more draft capital last year in the first few rounds than they have this year. They had more second and third round picks to throw around so they can move up and get a guy like that, and they had more fourth-round picks. This year, their treasure chest isn't as big. Yes, they have 10 draft picks. They have a first, second, and a third rounder, But when you're talking about trading up pretty high into the first round, you may have to involve high value picks from next year in next year's draft. And do the Chiefs want to do that? I'm not quite sure. I think they do value their draft picks a fair amount. And yes, they aren't afraid to trade up. They've traded off draft picks before, but who knows? I mean, they could maybe want to make a big splash now that the draft is in Kansas City, and Clark Hunt would give Brett Veach permission to trade a first next year if they went up in the first round and got someone that they really did like, someone that they think that could be a franchise wide receiver, a game-changing wide receiver for years to come. Brett Veach and the organization is not naive to their deficiency at wide receiver right now. A lot of us are concerned about the wide receiver position. The Chiefs know that. They're aware of this. Brett Veach is not stupid. He watches football. He knows the game pretty well. He knows that the wide receiver core is not where we all want it to be at, and it could use another guy. I don't know where they'll draft a receiver in this draft, but I expect them to draft a wide receiver. But it is very interesting that we're seeing a lot of smoke now as we inch closer to the draft about the Chiefs, being involved with some of the best wide receiver prospects in this draft. But I want to hear from you guys. What do you think this is all about? Do you think the Chiefs trade up for a wide receiver? Do you want them to trade up for a wide receiver? Where does it rank on your list of needs? Would love to hear from you guys on that. But with all that being said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. And make sure you check out my work on showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com. And I will see you all in the next one. Go Chiefs!